Hey guys, Tom Lobianco here, national politics reporter and co-founder of 24 Site News, here with my boy Patrick Finkston, the Illinois. Patrick, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Yo.
Happy debate day.
Yeah. Is
it really happy? Is it really happy? Let's be honest. Are we really happy there's a debate tonight?
So there's like Midwest nice. Is this Midwest excited?
That's just like fake, oh, we're so happy for you, eh? Let's go have some hot dish and celebrate. $100 if Tim Walsh mentions hot dish tonight.
Yes.
$100. I put it in my newsletter this morning. $100 to charity if Tim Walsh mentions hot dish. I'm doubling down on it.
Dude, there needs to be a yes. Yeah, the bingo, like actually, like I freaking hate bingo cards, like these debate bingo cards, because like it's so dated as a concept. Yeah. But I legit think that that this would actually be amusing, like a Midwest bingo card.
Yeah. Carburetor.
Yep.
Childless cat lady. Chicken curry.
Do you think
Vance has talked about he makes a good chicken curry?
Does he really?
That's what he said. I mean,
I love curry. Notice how he didn't say he makes cats and dogs curry. Oh, I don't. You know what's so strange to me? And I know we've talked about this before. Like, you have all these resources as a United States senator, as a member of one of the two major party tickets, with millions upon millions of dollars, private plane, staff out the wazoo, protection. Like, why not just out of sheer curiosity? Like, if he believes that people are cooking cats and dogs, like, why
he doesn't believe it? That's the problem. He doesn't believe it. He knows it's a lie.
Yeah,
his staff called the mayor. Or the city manager, whatever the hell it was, before the September 10th debate and said, is there any truth to this? And they said no. And they went with it anyway because they're so full of shit that they don't care about the facts.
Dude,
you're getting me so wrong.
It is insane. We've been covering politics for a while. And like, I've never seen it like this, like a post reality, like just completely detached for a certain group, I should note, because that is not the majority of politicians.
Politics has reached an exceptional level of stupid.
Yes.
I mean, Christine O'Donnell, I'm not a witch TV ads used to be wild, and now it's like that ain't nothing compared to where we're at 14 years later.
You know, when I'll tell you, when Trump first came on the scene, and all I could think about is, like, I had a little bit of sympathy for Richard Murdoch, because if he had just waited 4 years,
this is the crazy former state treasurer in Indiana for those that don't know, that beat the great Dick Lugar in a primary and tanked his chances in the fall over, was it abortion comments or rape comments? I get Murdoch and Todd Akin turned around.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah. Todd Akin was legitimate rape.
Legitimate rape. That's right. Gosh.
I remember covering that Murdoch debate, and among other things, they almost they tried to actually kill that abortion question. I remember Dennis Ryerson over at the Star, the Indianapolis Star, was like looking through these questions and was like, we don't need to ask about abortion. Like, everybody knows the answer to that. And thank God the Indiana Debate Commission was like, no, we really do. Like, this needs to be on the record.
What a disaster.
Right.
What a disaster. So yeah, but you're right. He was before his times. Like 4 years later, he may have beaten Todd Young in a primary.
Would have been fine. He would have been. It would have been him down there instead of Todd Young.
God bless Todd Young, by the way, for getting back to our Indiana time for both of us. Todd Young, who's now the senator and is a foreign policy guy, is a Did you know he's a former Marine? But has also been one of the last remaining Republicans for sanity.
Yeah.
And I know Todd. I like him a lot. I've sat in his office and argued with him over biofuels before. But I think he's one of the shining lights in a Senate Republican conference that's lost its damn mind.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he really is. I think I don't know if I've tweeted this before, but and this is a pretty bold statement, especially for the political junkies, watching this. But I do think he is filling the shoes of Dick Lugar.
Yeah, more conservative, of course, but certainly in the realm of not being an a-hole when you're in Washington, which his co-senator from Indiana, who's about to be the governor, is definitely in that a-hole category. And the Ted Cruzes and Josh Hawleys and Tom Cottons of the world. So he's like a return to normal, which he might be one of those people that Republicans can look to and say, help us not be stupid anymore.
Yes. I mean, and there's a lot to say for that, because there's a good number of Republican lawmakers that feel that way, and they tell us they feel that way, but then do not present that way in public. So it takes a lot of courage in this political environment to do that, and he's doing it.
For sure. All right, debate.
Okay, so what are the stakes here? Are there any? Okay, I don't, obviously, beyond not moving numbers, because there's no way that this changes perceptions, for Trump and Harris. But what are the stakes for Walz and Harris, or Walz and Vance?
Well, I would assume that the stakes are higher for Vance, just because his national profile depends on this. His potential future in the party sort of depends on this.
Yes.
If Harris and Walz lose, Tim Walz goes back to the governor's mansion in St. Paul and is never heard from again. If no matter what happens with Trump and Vance runs for president in 2028.
Absolutely.
So this is a bigger deal to him than I think it is to Walz. Though I would say that there's a ton of pressure on Walz because nobody knows him. He's done nothing in the public since he was announced, and no interviews. I mean, did he do one podcast where he talked about gutters? I think I remember that. And he did the kitschy international scout video, which was really good. A little hokey, but the concept was good. But he hasn't been out there at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Other than just sitting there awkwardly towering over Kamala Harris in the CNN interview. Right. We haven't heard a thing from him. But when he has been out there, he did was it the first day of the Minnesota State Fair when he's walking around with a milkshake at 8 a.m. and looks super comfortable in his skin. And it's why don't we see more of that guy?
I don't understand.
Why isn't he doing Joe Rogan? Why isn't he doing College Game Day? Why isn't he, he probably comes across really well in these sort of instances, because everyone I know who knows him says that he's the coolest, most down-to-earth guy ever. I just talked. I had Sherry Bustos, who's a former congresswoman from Northwest Illinois, on the radio this morning, and Walz was her mentor when she got elected to the House. So she's known him forever, and
wow.
And she's like, why aren't they putting him out there? Put him everywhere outside of the cities. Have Kamala focus on Philly and Pittsburgh and Milwaukee and Detroit and Phoenix, and have Walz go out into the hinterlands.
Yes.
Your Eau Claires and your Lansings and let him just be him. Yep. But they've really just cut him off like they have Harris, and there's just, I don't know what they're afraid of.
Great point, man. I was on C-SPAN this morning and talking a little bit about this, and that I don't understand why especially in this environment where you have to flood the zone. That's just the nature of media these days. And this is a big part of the problem that Hillary Clinton had in 2016. they thought that they could, avoid their way to the White House, to the point where they didn't focus on the Rust Belt states that they thought they had in the bag, and they very much did not. And it feels a little bit like a repeat. I mean, there is like this, there is like a Democratic Party institutional memory, this muscle memory, where they just don't engage the way that the Republicans do. And I mean, and the irony of this too is that if you look at when JD Vance does these events, and Vance clearly does not like the press.
No, well, he doesn't like the press, but he wants the press to like him, which is very Trumpian in that regard.
He needs us.
And I need you, Tom. I need you.
Which raises the bigger question here. Does America need this debate?
No one cares. I mean, essentially what's going to happen is JD Vance is going to come out and boxing gloves on and just start swinging. He's going to attack Walz on Minneapolis during the George Floyd riots. He's going to attack on the tampon bill, which they passed here in Illinois and is a stupid bill, because why do you need tampons in boys' bathrooms? He's going to attack on the IUI IVF stuff, which is a stupid attack. But more importantly, and I think the one where he risks getting Walz really fired up and potentially getting Walz to make a mistake, is the stolen valor stuff. And I think that's where if you get Walz on his heels, it's going to be on that. And in the same way that Trump couldn't take the debate from Harris, this is one where Walz can't take the bait from Vance.
Great point. Well, let me ask you this. You think they're able to flip it around on Vance? Because he's a kid, and I think he did like one tour as a press guy overseas.
Well, but Walz's line so far has been, anyone who served, all we need to say is thank you for your service. So I mean, his line has been above the fray to this point. I don't know that it's not like JD Vance is running around saying that I was shooting down the bad guys in Fallujah. He said I was a Marine, which he was. Yeah. So I mean, that's not, he hasn't. The thing with Walz's issue is it's so dumb because of the Army and the reserve rules of what you need to achieve, how long you need to be in a role before you can retire with that, what additional training, etc. you need. Adam Kinzinger did a great explanation of it when I talked to him recently, and he did it on a podcast too. I can try and find it, but it's essentially it's a very normal thing. And does it matter whether he was Master Chief or just Chief at the end? No, he served in the Guard for 24 years. We should thank him for that service. Yeah, he probably has overstated where he was and when, but he served during wartime. I don't necessarily know that. I mean, yeah, there's a distinction between someone who was, running through Humvees while the Taliban was firing RPGs at him, and someone who was on recon duty at a base in Germany. You're still serving the country, no matter where you are. It's where you've been stationed.
Right.
So I don't really necessarily care. I mean, he probably has to answer at some point for misstatements, but trying to accuse of stolen valor and stuff like that, it just feels like a real stretch.
Yeah. Do you think Tim Walz brings up the couches?
No, he's going to stay above the fray.
You think so?
Do you think he would get in the mud like that?
I don't know. It kind of depends what Vance does.
I think if you get to a point where he's throwing shit around like that we're probably in a real mess, and Walz is probably on his heels at that point to start throwing around stuff like that. Especially if you're trying to be the competent, thoughtful qualified ticket compared to the crazy guys over there in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you want to start repeating internet lies, right?
Right.
Because that's a lie, right? It's not. I mean,
well, it's lie. There's no false.
I mean, there's no fact to that. I mean, we haven't watched JD Vance every night of his life, but certainly there's no fact to back that up.
There's no evidence proving it.
And I think that Walz would be above that. But I mean, he wasn't during his speech, but a debate's a different thing.
You know, it makes me wonder because you look at clearly the Harris strategy with Trump, which worked in spades, was drawing him out and playing on his ego, his insecurities. And, you know, and then we get whatever that Charlie XCX Brat remix of Cats and Dogs. That's, you know, which worked very well, but I don't know that you can do that with Vance. You know, I don't know.
Vance is a lot more disciplined than Trump.
Yes.
You know, I mean, Trump has the discipline of a puppy in training. You know, he pees on everything and just runs away.
Yeah.
Vance has some discretion and some discipline, but he also is desperate to please his leader, right? So how does he balance that line of, I want to make Trump so happy, I want to be his best good boy, but also not sounding like an idiot on a national stage?
He also has sort of an ideological balancing act here because, you know, he very much is filling the role that Pence filled in his time in that world, which is a bridge to the ideological conservatives. For Pence, I would argue that it was, you know, conservatives. For Vance, this is whatever this iteration of the right is, and I don't think that counts as it's not conservative in any normal sense.
No.
Yeah, but I do wonder because, you know, Vance has been most closely aligned with, quote, the new right, the nationalist conservatives, the January 6th truthers, the Steve Bannons, Heritage, this new iteration of Heritage, which is like, you know, based heritage or whatever, the Project 2025. I do wonder how much he tries to push that because that benefits him. That's his base of operations versus carrying the water for Trump. Because carrying the water for Trump means not being that person.
Well, but I mean, the question will be framed because we're also talking about national CBS political reporters here that are asking the question. So it's going to be framed in a way for Vance has to defend Project 2025. Vance has to defend childless cat ladies. Vance has to defend they're eating cats and dogs. So it puts him on defense, and in that, I've got a fight or flight sort of feeling right off the bat.
Right.
I mean, if I'm one of them, I mean, isn't your first question if you have a history of hating women? You know, with the comments you've made about women in society, with the childless cat lady comments, with your running mate saying I hate Taylor Swift, with all of that stuff. I mean, if they're doing their jobs right, they're putting Vance on the defensive before Walz has to open his mouth, which is an advantage for Walz.
Yes. Yeah. And CBS has a great news operation. So my guess is that, it would actually be very akin to what we saw from David Muir and Lindsay Davis at ABC, who I thought did
probably better. I would assume better.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Norah O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan are actual political reporters. Muir's not a political reporter.
Right.
I mean, Muir's a very handsome guy with nice hair, who happens to anchor the news. They just knew they couldn't put George Stephanopoulos up there.
Yeah, that's right. That was a good point. Yeah. Norah and Marge Brennan have been in the. I mean, Brennan has interviewed Vance a number of times on the Sunday on Face the Nation, so she knows. Well, and again, it goes back to.
And didn't O'Donnell cover the White House? I think she was the White House reporter.
Yeah, they've both been in the trenches. Good point. They could be. It could be a lot sharper. This one. That's interesting. The VP debate potentially having some more edge to it than the. Although I don't.
I mean, but you had two political reporters for the CNN debate, and it wasn't particularly sharp. So, I mean,
well, I thought Dana did a real good job of pushing on things, but of course, it was so hard to see because
you also didn't. They ran into the problem where they didn't want to look like they were beating up an old man.
Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap this with thoughts, winners, losers. Who's a winner coming out of tonight? It could be anybody. It could be Charlie. It could be Charlie Hustle, who just died. I mean, that's how open this question is.
Is there a winner? I mean, does anyone win? I mean, unless one of them takes a specific knockout blow on the other guy, which I really don't expect. I don't know that we see this race change because of the debate tonight. Maybe Norah O'Donnell or Margaret Brennan get some national acclaim for really pushing on something, but I mean, do you really think that the undecided construction worker in Wisconsin or undecided single mom secretary in Pittsburgh is really going to change their vote based on what that nice guy from Minnesota said on the TV tonight?
No,
I don't know. I
doubt it.
I mean, I know it's our business to play up politics, but like in it's also our job to tell the truth. And it's like this race is stagnant, and I don't know that this debate changes things very much.
Great point. Yeah. Okay. Loser. Who loses this thing?
Us, because we have to watch. I mean, I think Walz has the possibility of this turning into a really bad night for him because you've also seen the Harris campaign has really lowered expectations. Not like will Sarah Palin light the lectern on fire? Low expectations, but they've definitely lowered expectations. So he seemingly has a lower bar to clear than Vance. And Vance has a tougher job because not only does he have to debate his opponent, he has to debate all the crazy shit that Donald Trump has said.
Right.
So it's either one of them could come out, looking worse. I don't know that either of them gets a knockout blow, though.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say winner. I'm going to say Vance because he comes into this at such a low point professionally. In his unfaves.
Nowhere to go but up, baby.
That's right, baby. He has found rock bottom. And maybe he hasn't. I don't know. Can it go lower than that? Maybe he hasn't.
I didn't think we'd go as low as cats and dogs being eaten by Haitian immigrants. So here we are.
Right. Loser. I mean, building on what you said earlier, I think it's going to be Walz because he has a higher standing going into this, and it might not do a lot, on the ticket itself. But it could potentially make things trickier for them, especially if he flounders at all, and then has to go, and then they don't want to put him out in front of people. Yeah. All right, guys.
Can't wait.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing a live stream. We're figuring out how to do it right now. Tune in tonight. We'll be analyzing this. We'll have the popcorn. There will be a lot of palms on foreheads, guaranteed.
Can we drink? Are we allowed to drink?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, very.
Okay.
My last hit of the night is 11:45, so I'm going to bed at midnight. All right. All right, y'all. Tom LoBianco, 24 Site News, 24sight.news. Patrick, where we find you?
TheIllinois.com, ILLINOIZE.com. Find all my stuff on the Twitters and that stuff too.
All right, y'all. Peace.